Okay, Assalamualaikum and good day. I am Dr. Muhammad Nasir Abdullah, a senior lecturer in School of Mathematical Science, College of Computing, Informatics and Mathematics, Universiti Teknologi MARA. So in this video, I'm going to share how to construct a box and whisker plot using base R package. Right? So learning outcome or learning objective, after completing this topic, you should be able to construct a box plot using R programming, basically using base package, interpret the information presented in the box plot, compare data value between different categories or group, and understanding how to represent data using box plot. So basically, box plot is a 5-number summary graph. So since this is a 5-number summary graph, so the summary value that we take into consideration to construct a box plot is minimum value, first quartile, median or second quartile, third quartile, and the last value is the maximum value. We also need to calculate the interquartile range to evaluate the level of outlier, whether it is weak outlier or moderate outlier or extreme outlier. So basically, box plot can determine the shape of data distribution and also can determine if there are any outlier in the data set. So basically, box plot is designed only for quantitative data, so then we can determine the distribution of the data. So this is a box plot, example of box plot. This is on the left hand side. This is the minimum value or the smallest value in the data set, and the first line of the box is a quartile 1. This is a second quartile or median, and this is a third quartile, and the last value is a maximum value. If you notice, there is a circle outside the box plot. This is what we call as outlier. So the mild outlier consists when you have the data value is smaller than the first quartile 1.5 interquartile range, more than 1.5 interquartile range. If the outlier more than 1.5 interquartile range or 3 interquartile range, right, it lies outside 3 interquartile range, it is called as extreme outlier. Right. So to use box plot in R using base package, right, so this is the syntax or function that we're going to use, which is box plot. And this is the argument available for the box plot function. So we have x is a vector or formula, data, notch is the logical value, whether it's true or not true or false. Right? Notch means that we're going to make it the box plot more fancier. And variable width is to draw the width of the box, right? And so on. So this is an example of box plot for MTCA MBG dataset with a cluster by the number of cylinders, right? So this is how we want to use to display a box plot for mile per gallon based on number of cylinders, right? So we can use arguments such as xlab, main for the title for the graph and title for axis. Right, so let's look at the demonstration using R programming. So we are using RStudio as an IDE for our R programming. So this is the learning outline for this video. First, we're going to construct a box plot using R programming, and then we're going to look at how to create an element of the box plot, such as names, label, title of the graph, and adjusting the color scheme. And we're going to look at how to construct a group box plot, which is clustered by something. So let's try a full set full data set using MTK dataset. So basically, MTK dataset is a ready-made dataset available in R. We can type data, open bracket and close bracket, and we will get the list of all available dataset in R. So we're going to use MTCars, which is Motor Trend Car Road Test. If you want to look at the description of MTCar, we just type $MTCar. We can see the description of the MTCar dataset. Where first variable we have MPG, we represent mile per gallon. CYL will represent number of cylinders and so on. Right? So now let's use the data MTCar. So I'm going to store MTCar into a data1 object because I don't want to disturb the original data. Right, I'm going to call this one and look at the structure of the data. So based on the structure of the data, if you look at the data type for MPG is a numeric, data type for CYL also numeric, but actually CYL is a number of cylinder. It consists of, let's say I type table data1 CYL. It should have 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders and 8 cylinders. So it should be a categorical data. So the type should be factor with 3 level. So I'm going to replace the numeric categorical variable to as factor variable simultaneously using library dplyr. Right? So I'm going to store this as my data1, and then mutate across names. I think names I need to clarify what is the names that I'm going to pick up, such as CYL, and then we have VS is also a categorical data, AM, and then we have gear, and the last one we have carburetor. Right? So this one I cross all the names that I already specify, and then I'm going to replace it as a factor. That's all. Right? I think I'm missing one column. Yeah. Wait. I think. Yeah, this one should be not close bracket, and then this is good. So if you look at the structure of my data, so the variable that I already specified is already changed to as factor. So then for the easiness of calling the variable name of the data, I'm going to attach my data into R environment. So now to create a simple bar chart, create a simple box plot based on single continuous variable. So I'm going to use Boxplot my data MPG. That's all. So I will get the Boxplot for MPG. So if you look at this one, so this is a vertical box plot. So if you want to transform to make a horizontal box plot, so we just copy this one. We're going to use the same function, and then I'm going to add another argument, which is horizontal equal to true. Right? So then I can get the horizontal bar chart. Horizontal box plot. So as we have learned in previous video, in bar chart, we can input the color by using color argument, COL. Let's say I'm going to use light blue. So it will change to light blue. Right? So next step, let's say we want to customize the element in the box plot. For example, we want to add the title, we want to add the title for the graph, title for x-axis, and so on. So we can use the function that we already specified, and I'm going to add comma to continue adding the argument. Let's say the main argument is for title. Let's say this is a box plot represent, I think box plot showing the distribution of miles per gallon. Right, so I will get the title. So if I want to add the value, the label for x-axis, the title for x-axis, I'm going to use xlab should be equal to mile per gallon. So it will display mile per gallon, right? So as we already learned previously, we can also change the font type. Let's say 2 is for bold. Let's say I've got type 3 is for italic, right? And so on, right? So then I can also remove the box of the graph. So if you notice, there is a box on the graph, right, for the box plot. So I can also remove the box by typing frame equal to false. So it will remove the box of the graph, right? Let's say I also want to remove the axis. So removing the axis line, axis line and axis, right? Maybe axis only. So just copy this one and put here. I get another argument which is axis equal to false. It will remove the axis, right? So in making a beautiful box plot, we can also change the line type of the box plot. So how to change the line type? So we are going to use LTY argument. Let's say I'm going to copy this one again and add another argument which is LTY equal to 2. So it become dash line. So if LTY equal to 3, it become dash dot line. So you can refer to Google, right? Type LTY in our plot. This is the guideline that available. Okay, so 1 for solid line, 2 for dash line, 3 dot line, dot dash, long dash, and 2 dash. Alright, okay, so that is the initial thing that we can do. Let's say I'm going to stick it as 1, right? So 1 should be very nice. So let's say we want to make it look more nicer. We're going to remove the minimum and maximum line. So if you notice in the box plot, we have the close line for minimum and maximum. Let's say I want to remove this line. So what I can do is by using this argument step lex equal to 0. So we can remove the line. And sometimes the box is look bigger. I want to make it smaller. So we can adjust the size of the box. So how to adjust the size of the box? By using another argument. Let's say I'm going to copy this one. Add another argument such as box wax equal to 0.5. So again, remove making smaller size of the box, right? And sometimes I want to make sure, I want to highlight or adjust the line thickness. I adjust the line thickness of the box. So how to adjust line thickness? remember LWD on the previous video for the line thickness. We're going to use box LWD equal to 2. So this is to adjust the line thickness. If I change it to 4, it become more thicker, right? I think 2 should be okay, right? And then what we can do else, we can highlight the thickness of line for quarter number 2. Adjust the thickness of line quarter number 2 in the box, right? In the box. Okay. So to adjust that one, let me copy this one first and then paste. I'm going to add another argument, mid LWD equal to 3. So if you notice on the line on the quarter number 2, it become more thicker. Let's say I change it to 5, it become more thicker. Let's say this one should be 8, it become more and more thicker. So I think 3 should be okay to emphasize this is the quarter number 2. Right. Next, what we can do is we can change the color name and the color. Sorry, for title. Change color for title. So basically, we can reuse or recycle the argument that we already learned in previous chart. Let's say I want to change the color for main. Title should be, let's say, blue color. So it become blue color. I think I need to use better color. Let me use, I think this one should be okay. Brown color. So I'm going to use brown color for title, main title for the graph. Alright. Okay, I think that's all for a simple box plot. So this is the end of part 1 video. Right. So next video we're going to look at how to construct box plot for group data. So let's say we want to compare for certain group, right? So we're going to look at on part 2 video how to construct a group box plot. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Stay tuned for the part 2 video. Bye.